She's a minister and inspirational author, and her name is Shana Anderson. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Hello, it's
Hello. Am I pronouncing Sha? Is your name Shana or Shana?
Shana.
Shana, okay. Because different people, say it differently. So welcome to Black Authors Matter TV.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Sometimes people when they have their photos that they send and they change their hair, you don't always know what you're gonna get. But you look the same, you just have different hair. So
Yes.
that happens frequently. So tell us a little bit. You have an inspirational book, one of them. And you're an ordained minister, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I am.
Okay. Do you minister full time?
No, I do not minister full time in the actual brick and mortar church, but I'm always on duty.
Okay, all right. And you have an inspirational book. It's called It Is Well, and it's based on your life experiences. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. About 10 years ago, I found myself asking the question, why me? Life was really happening and I was struggling and really wanted to give up. And I started journaling just as a way to deal with the constant trials of life. And after several years of this, I felt God was encouraging me to kind of tell my story. And I thought to myself, what story? And I was clueless to what this meant. I was sharing this with my husband, and he suggested that I look into my journals. And I thought, that's interesting. So let's take a look to see what's in my journals. And after reviewing them, I decided, let's just jot down what a possible title of this chapter would be. And when I finished going through the journals, I realized that every situation that had occurred the past 7 years, I learned something. And it was a purpose for that particular situation that I was going through. And as a result of that, It Is Well was birthed. So It Is Well is truly an inspirational guide to help us kind of navigate through this thing called life. Life is going to be challenging. It's going to be difficult. But I realized that either God did it or he allowed it to happen in every single situation. So at the end, it is well.
Okay. Now, a lot of people start off a book by journaling. I have heard a lot of people say that. They had journals and then they decided they were going to take all the journals they had, and it was sort of documenting their lives or some of their experiences. And so they decided to put it in a book, or that was the foundation for a book. I've heard that many times from authors. So when did you start journaling?
Probably about 10 years ago. Again, life was just happening, and historically I was a kind of private person, so I wanted to journal as a way to express how I was feeling and not let people be in my business. Little did I know 10 years later I would be telling everybody my business and everything that's happened in me. I am truly an open book, but at the time, journaling provided a way for me to just relax and relieve some stress and put my thoughts down on paper.
Okay, now, I'm not assuming that you're a journaling expert, but is there a difference between journaling, a journal, and a diary?
I think
or do people have diaries anymore, and has the journal replaced the diary?
In my opinion, I think the journal has definitely replaced the diary, but it's very similar. It's really personal, and there's no right or wrong way to journal, and it's whatever you feel like doing. Some people make it a habit of doing it every single day. I only wrote what I felt like writing. So it's a difference when you feel obligated to have to write versus doing it when you feel like doing it.
Okay, because when I was a teenager, girls had diaries, and you put your secrets in them, and you didn't share them. I don't think anybody shared. I'm wondering what happened to my diaries. I don't know. Hey, they get them the wrong end.
Somebody's like, ooh.
I really truly can't remember. I hope I destroyed them. But anyway, that used to be the thing, and yeah, journals seem to have replaced them. and some people use journals for like church notes. I know I used to keep all of my church notes in a journal when I would attend church or like Bible study, because that way I don't have to try to remember what was said. And I prefer written to listening to a recording, although recordings are good, but for retention purposes,
Yeah.
um, a lot of times the journaling is good. So you say you created a women in business forum as well.
Correct. It's called Girl Talk.
Okay.
And definitely, I've been in the corporate America for almost, well, actually a little over 20 years, and recognized that there was definitely an opportunity for women in business. We needed an outlet to kind of express ourselves and help um, talk through challenging situations and making sure that we had a seat at the table. So I created Girl Talk Forum so that we can come together and really problem solve and help each other in business.
I think that's very much needed. I actually wrote my dissertation on the myth of the angry Black woman syndrome and how it affects African American female leaders. Because often when Black women in leadership positions don't want to be seen as that angry Black woman, so they don't always have an outlet to voice whatever their concerns are. If they are the dissenting voice in a groupthink type setting, then they're thought of being difficult instead of having another point of view on something. So sometimes Black women may kind of pull back. Have you seen that in your experience?
Absolutely. And I recently wrote a blog and it was titled, Am I an Angry Black Woman? And the answer to that question is absolutely I am. Because for so long, we didn't have a seat at the table. We were overlooked, we're underpaid and overworked. And when we are presented with situations, then sometimes we may appear angry, honestly, and we have reason to be. So it's understanding, yes, we have that label, but I think people need to dig deeper to figure out why are we quote unquote angry. We are angry about certain things, but again, we deserve a seat at that table just as everyone else is. We're educated and experienced, and we deserve to get paid accordingly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, in a corporate setting, which I haven't been. Anybody who's watched this show knows I've been an entrepreneur for many years. But my daughter, who finished graduate school a little bit over a year ago and started working in corporate, like she interned in corporate and then she was hired in corporate, and she's experiencing, I have to talk her through things a lot because you have to pick your battles in corporate. Even though I hadn't worked, I understand people. I've worked in a lot of settings where I was either managing people, I was leading people, I've done media stuff. And so in corporate, a lot of times the Black women are small in number in management positions, or when you start going up the ladder, it's less and less and less. So you're missing mentors is really what's one of the missing pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a senior manager in a Fortune 100 financial company currently, and there's only two other African American females in our organization. And at times that is challenging. And I recently made a recommendation that we need both. We need a mentor and a sponsor. And there's a difference for me. A mentor is a woman that looks like me, who's experienced some of the same things that I have. So I looked for another African American female in corporate America to mentor me. And then I need a sponsor. A sponsor is someone else that doesn't look like me. A sponsor is someone that will speak up for Shana when she's not in the room, will understand her work, her ethic, her experience, and her goals, and will help me align to get to the next level. So definitely a recommendation for your daughter is for her to seek both. Find a mentor and a sponsor within her organization. And if she can't find one, seek one outside the organization, but it's going to be critical for her success.
Do you find that in looking for, especially when it comes to having a sponsor, somebody who doesn't look like you, it also takes a level of trust on both your parts. You have to be able to trust that person who doesn't look like you to speak up for you when you're not in the room. And then that person has to trust you to kind of listen to that person's advice, or to know that you're not going to, as we say, pop off on them, so to speak, if they're telling you the truth about something. So it's a level of trust that has to be on both sides, do you think?
Absolutely. And finding a sponsor isn't always easy, but when you are working through various projects and people interact with you, that starts to open a door for those conversations. And when you reach out and just start having conversations about your career goals, you'll have that intuition that this person really has your best interest at heart. Or sometimes it's just solely their actions. It accidentally happens. And then you have that direct conversation. Will you sponsor me? Will you be that person to speak up for me? Because you've seen my experience and you can provide some examples of things that you've done.
Absolutely.
When you described where you were working, it's the same kind of company my daughter's working for. I'm wondering if maybe you all work in the same company. I won't name the company, but it is a Fortune 100 financial services company. So it could be the same place.
Yeah, we'll have to talk offline. Let's talk offline.
Yeah, we'll have to talk offline about that. But
we do have a comment here from
okay.
Kimberly Stewart. She says there is a difference between a mentor and a sponsor. Many times the mentor isn't seated at the decision-making table, but the sponsor absolutely is.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that comment.
Okay. Now they, a lot of times corporations they'll put forth an effort. Well, they say it's an effort to have inclusion and diversity, and they'll have conversations. I know after all the things that happened this summer, that's what happened at my daughter's company, and they had these conversations. And I don't know in the long term if they really make that much difference. In the short term, they might, but it's hard for people to change habits. And the go-to habit for your average corporate executive who's not going to be Black in most instances is to mentor or befriend someone like themselves. And someone different is an afterthought, or not even a thought. It's just, it's not a serious effort. And in order to move up in any big company, you have to have someone who's mentoring you, or because otherwise you don't have anybody going to bat for you. Or a lot of times in those promotions, you have to be recommended, or it's a process. So it's really challenging to move up. And then also the further up you go, the more isolated you can become, as an African American woman.
Right. Well, here's another comment from Teresa Russell.
Okay.
Said, I identified with that blog piece you wrote, Angry Black Woman. It was excellent.
Oh, thank you. Thank
you. That's great. Teresa's always reading our guests' information, and she's very thorough. I don't know her personally as far as I know, but she always listens to the show, and she's always giving good input. And she goes to the websites, and she goes to their blogs or whatever, and she comments. And she's very supportive of African American authors.
Well, let's remind Teresa what the name of this book.
The name of my book is called It Is Well. Here it is. You can find it on my website, on Amazon, and I would love to talk to people about it. I truly believe it's an inspirational guide, and it now includes a journal along with it. So not only am we talking about life situations, but it allows you to pause and reflect on some of the things that we're talking about, because I found so many people reaching out saying, gosh, when I finished this chapter, I had to stop and just think about it. So I revised the copy based off that feedback, and now includes a journal with a lot of thought-provoking questions to really help the reader dig in a little bit deeper and get some personal insights.
Okay, so is the journal a separate book, or is it within the book?
It's within the book.
Okay, okay. Because some people will have like a workbook separate from their book
Yeah.
where, you know, and where they have exercises that people can do, or just like discussion questions, things to provoke conversation. So you also have an upcoming project called I Am Unapologetically Me. And I see something behind you that refers to that.
Yes, I am very excited about it. It is called I Am Unapologetically Me. It's a life-changing experience. And it's not just another workshop, but it is a forum where women can get together and really discover who they are. A lot of people say, hey, well, Shana, who are you? And you can come up with all these surface descriptions like, oh, I'm organized, I'm goal-oriented, but truly, who are you? We try to hide the fact that we are survivors of abuse, we're former alcoholics, we have low self-esteem, and we're past those things. Those things happen to us for a reason. It is part of who we are, and we need to be proud of those descriptions and labels and really figure out, now what? So now that I truly know who I am, what am I going to do with that information? What is truly my purpose? So the I Am Unapologetically Me series, we're launching in January. It's all centered around helping women really know who they are and what's next.
Okay, so what is it exactly? Is it a conference? Is it some workshops? What is it exactly?
It's going to be a virtual online workshop.
Oh,
Okay.
wonderful.
Okay. And is it going to be open? Is it going to be registration required? How do people participate?
Yes, it's going to be registration required. All the information will be posted shortly on my website, shanawilsonanderson.com. It is going to be limited because to me, this is personal. So we're going to start off with small cohorts or groups, a maximum of 10 participants for each session, because I want it to be a forum where women can connect with one another. It's really important as women that we surround ourselves with like-minded women who can help inspire, support, and motivate us. So I don't want a large group because it's not about numbers, but it's about impact. So small groups, no more than 10 at a time.
Okay. Now I'm going to sort of tie into what you've been talking about, and I'm going to ask each person on the screen, including me, but I'll go last, to give 3 words that describe you. So Shana, you go first since you're the guest. 3, if you had to describe yourself in 3 words, what would in turn, and use adjectives.
Okay, inspirational.
Okay.
Motivational.
Okay.
And I would say focused.
Okay. Those are good. Those are good. So Rhonda, I know you, and I want to hear what you're going to say.
Okay.
3 words, and I also want the guests to think about yourselves in those terms. Shana had, inspired me to do this exercise.
Okay. Well, let's see. Inspirational. I don't want to feel like I'm taking the same stuff that Shana's speaking, but I was gonna say
like-minded.
Yeah, if it fits you.
Well, no, I was gonna say focused as well. Whenever I want to do something, I just jump on it. You know that about me already.
I do.
And education centered. I love to learn, and I love to inspire other people to learn.
Okay, and I can vouch for that because how many degrees do you have now? And I think, aren't you working on another one? Didn't you tell me you were working on? You got your PhD.
Well, I've been thinking about getting a certification. I haven't started it yet, though.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So, okay, so if you all want to know the 3 for me, I should have thought through mine more. But I know one thing I am relentless. When I have a project or a vision, or like I'll give you an example. When I wanted my daughter to go to college debt free. And I tell people, you have to be relentless. You just have to be possessed. And I try to keep it in check, but I can focus in like a laser beam on something, and I'm relentless, and I'm also committed. When I'm and I don't commit myself to a lot of things. So, but when I am in, I'm all in, and so I limit my list is very short on the things that I focus on. And I would also say I'm passionate. I have a passion for African American literature. And if I didn't, I would not have stayed in this space, in the African American book space for 21 years, when so many have come and gone. So those are the three for me. And for those of you who are watching, think about yourself. So, it's good to be self-aware and have some self-reflection. And I noticed I wanted it to be positive, because I could, I could, we could all say something negative, but I try to be positive about because one thing I can say, well, and I don't think it's negative, but I've been told that I am blunt. See, and I am blunt, but to me, I would rather just be straight up with people and honest. I don't like it when someone is can't make up their mind, or they're duplicitous, and I can't stand a liar. That's one thing I can't. If you lie to me, we're not gonna, we can't.
Right.
So, but I get things done. So. Well, Shana, I want to talk a little bit more about what you're doing with your workshop, because you said you're going to help women discover who they are and start the process. So what do they have to bring to the table? Is there a fee for your session? And is it just one session? Is it a series? Tell us about that. I mean, do people attend more than one, or do they just come once and then that's it?
It will be a series of 6 workshops.
Okay.
There will be a fee associated with it, and the only thing they have to bring is their true authentic self and an open mind. Allow us to really dig in deep and really connect and discover who they really are and what's next for them. And you have to have an open mind to do that. One, you have to trust me, and definitely it's really important. I just won't allow anybody to sign up for this workshop. There will be an interview process, because it's that important, because I want to make sure that we are really connecting like-minded women who really want to discover who they are and their purpose in life. We always ask that question, oh, what's my purpose? Well, before you can get to your purpose, you have to understand who you are. There'll be full details listed out on the website coming very soon, but it will definitely be launching in January of 2021. This year of 2020, everyone said it was the year of vision. It was year of focus, right?
And then it became COVID.
No, year of COVID.
More time.
It's been the year of COVID. I mean, it has taken over. I mean, it's, and that just shows how man really is powerless in the face of a lot of things. We're limited, so, and we need to accept that we're limited.
Yeah, but I would encourage people during this time, look for the good, look for the positive
I
things
agree.
that happens. There's been a lot of downtime, and what are we doing with that downtime? It's really important.
A lot of positive has come out of this year. I know it's been a hard year for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
But a lot of positive has come out of this year as well. I mean, Black Authors Matter TV was born in 2020.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we first started, we didn't know how. We were thinking it could be a short-term project, but it took off so fast that it's a long-term thing now. So I'm looking forward to when we have our 100th guest. I'm trying to map out when that'll be. I'm not exactly sure, but it'll be sometime next year, not that far in.
Oh, I'm so excited. We've had some viewers actually give us their words.
Oh, great. Okay. So in closing, because we have about a minute left. So in closing, what are some of their words?
Kimberly Stewart said supportive, intentional, and determined.
Okay.
Lisa Russell said creative, curious, and like you, Gwen, blunt. And Bailey, another dedicated viewer, driven, passionate, and committed.
Awesome.
Okay. That's great. I'm so glad. So now you're on social media as well. Tell us your social media places people can find you.
Everywhere there's social media, I'm on there. Shana Wilson Anderson. I am on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter,
Okay.
all the same. ShanaWilsonAnderson.com is my website.
Okay. Well, Shana, it was great meeting you and much success with your seminar series or your workshops. And I'm sure that they will bless a lot of women to find their purpose.
Thank you very much for having me, and good luck on continued success with this forum. I have enjoyed it.
Oh, okay. Great. We enjoy doing it. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.